Welcome to episode number 2, where we'll be talking about why being healthy is hard and what you can do to make it easier on yourself. What's up, Mari? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm alive, awake, alert, ready to get into this.
Cool beans, cool beans. So to kick things off, we're going to be talking about why being healthy is hard. And I think a great place to start will be a point you made before we connected was defining what being healthy actually is, right? So what do you think?
Well, I think everybody has a different definition of what healthy is.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with our microwave society, people want things like super fast and immediate. And that's why you have all these fad dietings and all these quick fixes, all these things to get results immediately. But I feel personally, it goes way deeper than just physical health. I feel like your emotional health, your mental health, your financial health, all of that matters. Stress kills.
Yep.
And taking care of your body is the main point, but all of it plays a really important role in what healthy is.
I got you. And I agree with that sentiment because I think, if you ask 5 different people if they're healthy, you're going to get 5 different reactions. And, there's a camp out there who believe that, hey, I eat organic and that means I'm healthy. And we know that there's a lot of organic food that is still very unhealthy for you, especially when we talk about the quantities of it. I'm not a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, but, I've met plenty of vegans who, hey, are you healthy? Well, I'm a vegan. Like, okay, well, there's a lot of vegan junk food and there's a lot of vegans out there who are overweight and have the same medical conditions that people who are non-vegans, right? So I think that's a very valid point, and I think defining that makes sense. So what recommendations would you have for somebody in terms of defining what healthy is for themselves? Like how would you go about that?
I mean, I think that if you're eating whole foods, then you're eating healthfully, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If you are moving your body, then you're doing something healthy for your body, for yourself. Really tapping into your self-awareness is doing something healthy mentally, So just taking bits and pieces, because I train competitors all the time, and competitors look great aesthetically, but they're not all the time. I love y'all, but they're not all the time healthy. And I was there too. I would do a show and then smash a dozen donuts. That's not right. So it's just more of a well-rounded lifestyle than something quick. So yeah, if you're vegan, my favorite response to that is, well, French fries are vegan.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's healthy.
Yeah.
So doing the things just for the right reasons and to really take your body to a good place.
Yeah. And I think knowing your why, right? Like what makes you tick, like why being healthy is important to you, like really getting that deeper level answer to that question, I think is where most people need to go. Because a lot of time, healthy is more of a surface level thing where we look at, like you said, the aesthetics, we look at, what pant size or shirt size we are and, what time of the year is it? And my definition changes depending on whether it's sunny or whether it's winter. Like my definition of healthy changes from season to season. So I think having that deep meaning of why being healthy is important to you will kind of also help you really define what health means to you, because like you said, is and we see it in sports too. These guys are amazing athletes, but then they have all these mental health issues. So that just shows you that just having 6-pack abs and being able to bench press 300 pounds doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy from a physical and mental standpoint. So I think that's great. I think that's a very
really good example. I love that example. That's right on target.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Another thing too, I think why being healthy is difficult is because, we're in a day and age where people don't like accepting responsibility responsibilities for our circumstances, right? You know, we love to blame external factors. So this is another thing, is that people blame external factors, because when you do that, you know, you're saying it like, hey, you know, I want to be healthy, man. I really do. But the reason why I'm not is not because of me. It's because of X, Y, Z. It's because I have kids, because I have family, because I have the work, I have a dog, I have, you know, whatever it is. And you know, I would just love to hear your thoughts on that. Like, what do you?
Well, I think like it just circles back to all those aspects of health. So part of self awareness, or that emotional health, that emotional intelligence, is accepting responsibility for your actions,
Mm-hmm,
is taking accountability for yourself and what you're doing and what you're not doing.
mm-hmm.
So blaming somebody else is, I'm not trying to attack anybody, but it's emotionally immature.
I mean, but you know, but and you're right, but it's something that happens all the time, you know, and people love, you know, the time thing, you know, like, oh, I don't have time because, you know, X, Y, Z, you know, it's always that, you know, it's not me the reason why I'm not taking. But at the end of the day, even if in your mind you truly believe that external factors are the reason why you're not healthy, when your body throws a tantrum, you still have to deal with it alone, right? So we can
Exactly.
shift the blame and create all these reasons beyond us not just doing the work necessary to be healthy. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that nothing, like, you're not susceptible to preventable diseases, and you know, not living the best life you could because you can't walk up a flight of stairs, or can't fit in the clothes, or you don't feel confident in the, you know, in the bedroom, or going to the beach, or when you look in the mirror. Like, it doesn't stop all those issues from surfacing. So at some point we have to um, figure out how to remove the blame from external factors, and figure out how we take ownership of that and take
Right.
responsibility, and then say, all right, you know what? I do have a family. I do have work. I do have all these social obligations, but I still need to make time for me. You know, I still need to.
So that's a great question for you, because you specialize in working with people who are entrepreneurs, who are parents, who are really, really busy. So what do you tell them? What do you suggest? How do they work around those, for lack of a better term, excuses?
Mhm.
But those external factors, like what can they do to make that not an excuse anymore?
Start small. You know, I think the biggest thing is starting small. So if you do believe that, hey, I got all these external factors that are stopping me from, you know, getting into a regimen and working out, you know, 5 days a week and eating clean, like, well, okay, well, maybe start with a smaller goal. You know, maybe instead of going from doing absolutely nothing, or maybe doing minimal stuff, to starting tomorrow, I'm gonna do everything perfect. Start small. Start commit to the things that you know you can commit to. Commit to the things that are sustainable today, and then as you get that rhythm, and as you get some success, you get those small wins. You may find that time just magically starts to present itself more, because now you know your confidence is high. You're seeing those positive changes, and now you're more willing to move things around to kind of fulfill that health goal, you know. And because right now we're thinking like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna be real with you. I've been there before. Um, it can seem like a drag to go from the fun lifestyle, but that's not healthy, to now I got to like make some changes. And that means that maybe when I go hang out with the homies, I can't splurge like I used to. I can't drink as many alcoholic beverages. I don't drink, by the way, but speaking hypothetical, maybe I can't have 5 beers. I got to just have one. Like, you know, it's not the
Yeah.
most pleasant thought in the beginning.
Exactly. And I'm even going to just piggyback on that a little bit. Like, just change the narrative. Just be the person of your circle who wants everybody to be a little healthier. So maybe instead of brunch, let's go on a hike and then brunch. Or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
let's go take a yoga class and then grab a glass of wine. Or, you know, whatever. You don't have to change what you enjoy, but just work around it and include those people who you feel like are holding you back. Take your kids out and go for a walk or a hike, or, you know, whatever. Like, you don't have to exclude yourself, but just include everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, that's a perfectly valid point. I love that. And then yeah, just start small, get the small wins, make subtle changes, and then just kind of write it out. Like, do something very small. Like right now, just do something very small. You know, you can commit to. Like, say, you know what? I'm going to wake up 10 minutes earlier and walk around my neighborhood for 10 minutes every day for the next 2 weeks and see how you feel in 2 weeks. Like see what kind of improvements change. See if your pants are just a little bit tighter. See if you start to push that 10 minutes to 15 minutes. Maybe you start to walk a little faster. Maybe you turn your 10-minute walk into a light jog. You just never know how small, like how impactful these small little changes that we do can have on you, because I think most people are naturally competitive, if not with other people, with ourselves, right? We like to, it's this days where I don't feel like working out, and then I get into it, and next thing you know, I'm like pushing the reps and I'm pushing the time and I'm trying to run faster. But it all started off with a workout that I didn't even want to do in the first place. You know what I mean? So I think just starting off very small, making subtle changes. Don't think that everything has to be extreme. We don't have to go from nothing to, like Drake said, we don't have to go from 0 to 100 real quick. We can take our time a little bit, slow it down, and just enjoy the process. And I think that's a big one. Enjoy the process. The process is going to have ups and downs, but I think enjoying it and owning it and watching yourself grow and learn throughout that process, I think it can be fun if you allow it to be fun. And it can be a drag if you make it a drag. It's all about your mindset.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I think another big one, Mari, I have this little note here, is the convenience factor. Why being healthy is hard. Because you kind of talked about it a little earlier about the microwave society, right? But I think convenience is another one. We want shit quick. We don't want to put time into things. We just want to snap our fingers, and we want it right here in front of us. Like, you remember back in the day we used to order something and we had to wait like a week or two to get it?
Oh, before Amazon Prime?
Before Amazon Prime, right?
I don't even know that.
I remember ordering things and it'd be like, shipping was like, 14 to 21 day delivery time. And we thought that was quick. We paid to get 7 to 14 day delivery time. Now it's like, if we order some shit and we don't get it in a day or two, it's like, man, what's going on with my package? Everything's
Yeah.
And because we got so used to like instant gratification, we don't have patience anymore. And that plays a huge role in the way that we look into health and fitness,
Yeah, I think just being a little more realistic about, the energy you put into something is the output you're going to get. So same thing, like when you're at work and you're just doing enough to make it to the end of the day, your work performance is going to suffer. It's the same thing. If you're going half-assed in the gym, your results are going to be half-assed. Like that's just what it's going to be, input versus output.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you have to spend 2 hours in the gym. I've had great workouts in 20, 30 minutes. But you just have to do the work.
Yeah. And then when it comes to food, especially with food, convenience with food is a major one, right? And I think, because we know, people love to pretend that the workout is everything, right? And we've been trainers for a while, and how many clients have we had say, oh, I need to change my program because I ain't getting results. It's like, well, how are you eating at home? And then it's like they don't want to answer the questions because, it's credit to some people. They will bust their ass in the gym, but when it comes to food, man, that's where the hiccup is.
You're right. And also, to answer that particular part of the question or the point, I feel like I talk to my clients about this all the time who don't have time, or they don't cook, they don't know how to cook, or don't like to cook, don't have time to cook. But just like you're going through the drive-through and getting a burger or tacos or whatever you get from the drive-through, they have salads. It's a crazy concept, right?
What the salads? What is that foreign concept?
Exactly. But it's really just about choosing the best option for your circumstance at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's getting a grilled chicken sandwich versus a fried chicken sandwich, that's a better option. It's not the best option, but there's just small changes, like you said earlier, small little tweaks that you can do to adjust your lifestyle. And once that mindset really shifts, then that's when you start to live healthier. And it's less of a chore, it's less of a thought. You just do it.
Yeah, getting that burger protein style, get it wrapped in lettuce instead of wrapped in bread.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not throwing so many condiments on there that are just empty calories.
Right.
Not drinking your calories with the sodas or the juices. Maybe getting water, or black coffee. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely right. So just because it's convenient doesn't mean it has to be horrible. It may not be the best, but it could
Exactly.
be cleaned up a bit, especially if your normal routine was ordering things with all those extra things, with all those extra ingredients that were just empty calories. Maybe stripping those out will help create that calorie deficit and bring about some positive changes. And then eventually you may start exploring things like food prep,
Exactly.
prepping your food on a Sunday, or maybe exploring getting like, if finances is not an issue and it's really just time, then maybe doing a meal delivery service. Have somebody prepare the food for you and bring it to your house, or deliver it, or you go pick it up. But then having those prepared meals, and you know exactly what's in. For the most part, you know exactly what's in it, and you know how to work around that. So it's healthy, and you didn't have to really do the work besides paying for it to get a healthier meal. So yeah, that's definitely legit, and great sound advice for sure. All right, Mark. So I think another important topic we can discuss is boredom and stress, and how that kind of impacts our ability to be healthy, right? And I think this is even more important since the pandemic hit. That we've kind of all have been watching probably more TV than we used to. We haven't been getting out as much as we used to, and I know things are slowly getting back to normal. But we had a good 2 years of kind of just stagnant, behavior of being at home, watching movies. Probably, I know a lot of people probably gained weight, ate comfort food, probably didn't maintain their healthy habits. But even before the pandemic, I think boredom and stress is also another thing that gets people in trouble in terms of health and fitness, especially with eating.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I stress eat sometimes. Right. I'm like, whoo, I've had a day. So, I might grab something I'm not supposed to have, but it's really in moderation. And also recognizing, when we go back to like talking about that intelligence, that mental awareness, that self awareness, understanding that working out is going to help that mood, that
Mm-hmm.
working out is going to kill that stress, and understanding that stress is going to kill your body. Like that takes a toll
Mm-hmm.
on you. So, finding healthy ways to manage those emotions and those feelings and that potential anxiety, all those things that come with it are super important. If you are hooked to Netflix or you're binge watching whatever it is, Netflix has a little timer and they're like, hey, are you still watching? And you're like, you know what? This is a great time to take my dog on a 2 block walk. This
Yeah.
is maybe I just get up and do like some push-ups, like just to move and not sit there. I've done it. I'm not perfect, but it's real. It's You got to give yourself like some grace, but also give yourself the opportunity to choose a healthier option to manage that boredom and that stress.
And yeah, and that's cool because I think one thing we teach in our success path is actually identifying um, like our responses to stress and boredom, and what we do is we actually have a food journal, and this is something that you guys can do right now is start writing down what you're eating, why you chose that meal, how you feel when you ate the meal, and how you feel right after you ate the meal. And you start to see a correlation between like, damn, you know what? I realized that every day when I'm at work around this time, I eat this and I'm always pissed off when I eat this, or I'm upset, or I'm bored, I'm trying to stay awake. So I'm slamming back 3 or 4 coffees a day. Start seeing what triggers some of these food choices, and you start to uncover a lot about yourself. And then when you have that information, because knowledge is power, now you're able to say, you know what? I'm gonna try something. The next time that I feel angry, instead of me going to the store and buying, a bag of chips and a soda, I'm gonna go for a 10-minute walk with my dog or my kid or by myself. I'm gonna listen to a podcast, maybe this one, and I'm gonna do that and come back and then see if I still have that desire for that soda and that bag of chips. And if I do, then I'll go get it. Fuck it, right? Excuse my language, but I'll go do it. But change the way you respond to certain things and see if that craving or that feeling is still there after you make this new decision. And you'll be surprised that a lot of times it's not.
Yeah. Exactly. I was gonna say, before the fly interrupt. A lot of times cravings, like, I don't know if this is on the list, but you're like, oh, I want something crunchy, or I want something salty, or I want something sweet, or whatever it is. A lot of times it's because you are lacking, you are deficient in a micronutrient. So if you want something salty, you're probably dehydrated. If you want something crunchy, you probably need some magnesium. That's real. So have some water, see how you feel, and then have a little bit of something salty. Same thing with everything else. Like, have something healthy. You probably just hungry.
You know what I noticed, and this is about myself, is that most of my cravings hit when I'm thirsty. When I'm thirsty, or late at night, because I'm a night owl. I I don't even know what time it is right now, but I have not eaten yet, and I typically don't even get an appetite until like late in the afternoon. And so like, but I'm a night owl, so my family goes to bed, my wife's in bed, and I'm awake, and that's when I struggle the most personally, right? And it's because I'm alone and I'm in here, and I'm thinking about stuff too much. I'm not getting the sleep that I probably should be getting. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and preach to y'all like I'm Mr. Perfect over here. I got my own struggles, which is why I feels you. I go through the same thing you guys go through, but most of my issues are at night. Honestly, 99% of my issues are probably at night. And most of my stuff happens when I'm thirsty. Or I should be in bed, sleep, but I'm not. So therefore, I'm bored. I'm skimming through the TV, trying to find something to distract myself. Oh, let me go grab a snack. And that's how my situation is. So the fix for me was to get my butt in bed earlier, to make sure that I'm properly hydrated, to make sure that I don't eat after dinner, and I cut it off, and I brush my teeth after dinner to make sure that I'm not going to go snack. So it's like a lot of little hacks you can do. But that's something that I learned about myself, is that my late night, me staying up late at night was an issue, and then me getting thirsty was an issue personally. So
Yeah.
do that research on yourself.
Yeah.
Learn
So my
yourself.
little hack is, I don't keep bad stuff in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. Like, if I eat something bad, it's because I went out and got it. But I also go for like travel size things, or like, if I keep it in the house, I have no portion control. I'm very human, and I'll eat it. It's horrible. I'll eat it. So yeah, I don't keep it in the house, and I might, like, okay, let me get this quick workout in and see if I still want. Usually when I work out, I want something healthy,
Mm-hmm.
because I
You just put some
put
work in, and you don't want to undo what you just did. You don't want to spend an hour of 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, sweating it out just to go and literally put it back in 2 seconds. Yeah, that's literally all it takes, is like one cookie can like completely, erase a workout.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel you. And I think that we're going to wrap this up in a minute, but I think another very, very critical reason why it's hard for people is because they don't have an accountability system in place to make sure that they're consistently doing the work they should be doing on a regular basis. And no matter how dedicated, no matter how good you are, I mean, professional athletes have accountability. They have multiple coaches. They have a dietitian. They have a strength and conditioning coach. They have mental health professionals. They got a head coach, coordinators, teammates. I mean, they have accountability across the board because they know that it requires a lot of hard work to perfect their craft. And a lot of people don't like doing that. Most of those athletes probably don't even like practice, right?
Yeah, that's true. But you have to also remember, you're born alone, die alone.
Yeah.
So, like, you have accountability partners, but you have to show up, and you have to show up for yourself. So you have to be your biggest accountability partner. I feel like, at least to just show up, at least to reach out and find an accountability partner to say, like, hey, I need somebody. I really want to make this change, and I need somebody to like push me when I have days that I don't feel like doing it. You and I have been accountability partners for each other in business and workouts and so many things. I mean, we're creating a whole community of accountability partners. So it's super important. But at the end of the day, it's just you. So if your accountability partner is sleeping in that day, they're supposed to be up. Sometimes you got to make that phone call to be like, all right, no, let's do this.
Yeah.
We said we're going to be this for each other.
Yeah.
So that's really important. And finding somebody that has your same drive. You can't try to pull your homegirl in who drinks bottomless mimosas Monday through Friday. You got to pull in, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who likes to go hiking or, do something different.
And I think too, when choosing an accountability partner, you can't have an accountability partner. And maybe this is not true. This is not 100% true across the board. But I feel like when you know somebody too well, they can't be your accountability partner because you know how to talk each other out of shit. Like you know how to, hey, because like for instance, my wife. I know my wife. She knows me, so it's easy for me to like hit those buzzwords to kind of like give me that slack, right? So I think sometimes it's good to have it's great when your spouse is on board with you, when you guys are on the same page. That's beautiful. But I think when you have accountability outside of that first connection or that first degree of separation or whatever you want to call it, I think it's even better because like I wouldn't go to you and give you the same excuse that I gave my wife, right? Because we don't have that same, dynamic, right? And I know that you'll look at me and be like, yo, Ash, you on some bullshit, bro. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, and the same thing. And if I had like somebody online or I had a coach, I'm definitely not going to give them the same excuses because they're gonna be like, they're gonna call me out of my crap because their relationship with me is different than the relationship with my spouse. So I think people have a lack of accountability not because they don't have anybody next to them, but maybe it's not the right person who's going to really stop them from getting it in the way of themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not knocking my wife. She's great, but she's only going to push so hard before she's like, you know what, you're a grown ass man. I'm gonna let you do what you want to do, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, 'cause at the end of the day, she's not my babysitter, but I wouldn't pull those same stunts with other people, if I'm keeping it real with you. And I think that's something that people should do is look outside your immediate house, look outside your immediate circle of friends or coworkers, and go find yourself a group. Go, what's some good places, Mark? Facebook groups has a ton of them. Get SlimTone.com. We have a growing community of people who are looking to be just that for each other. So if you need that, get SlimTone.com. What's another good place? Meetup. They got meetups.
Yeah, meetups. I mean, your neighborhood. Like, if you talk to people while they're walking their dog, be like, "Hey, do you normally walk at this time? How far do you walk?" If you're trying to get into walking, like, just chatting it up.
Eventbrite.
Store like, oh, that looks healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, expand your network and just, like Mara said, it could just be walking with somebody else who has a dog in your neighborhood, and maybe that's your 10 minutes a day, and maybe it's volunteering somewhere that's maybe volunteer in an activity that's a little bit more active. Maybe kids programs at the park, or cleaning up, or I don't know. It could be anything.
Personal trainers are great accountability partners.
Yes. Made by Mari Fitness. She is an excellent personal trainer, and I know that she would call you out if you need it. Now, everybody's different and everybody's motivated different, and she has the skills to motivate you the way that's appropriate for you. But for me, I'm more of a direct guy. So if I'm slacking off, she knows she can just hit me up like, yo, you on some BS, man. Cut it out. Let's go. And that's it. That's all I take. But anyways, I hope you guys found this episode enjoyable and got some nuggets. Just know that being healthy can be hard if we allow it to be that way. But like Mari said earlier, if you reframe it, make some small adjustments, get those small victories. Don't start big. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 overnight. It can be 0 to 10 and then 10 to 20. Enjoy the process. Yeah. Get some accountability. Take responsibility for your situation. Don't blame other people. Don't blame outside circumstances. It's too easy to do that. Okay.
Maria has the best thing she says all the time. Me versus me.
Yup.
That's it. Just be better today than you were yesterday.
Yeah.